Sarah the Time Traveler, and if you've been with me for the past couple of readings, I am dressed differently, and that is because I'm dressed in a 1950s dress, because today we're going to be talking about the last chapter of my book about the 1950s. So let's begin, shall we? School is finally out for the summer. I get up, eat breakfast, and then go to meet my friend Mary. I just walk to my friends' houses, but older children in Poway can go on horses to meet with their friends. When there isn't a drought, children in Poway also like to take their horses to Poway Creek. However, we have been in a drought since 1952, so the creek beds are dry when I walk by. Instead, I go past lots of avocado trees, peach trees, and white sage. Soon, I meet up with Mary and we lay down under a tree. "Hey Mary, remember how Harry spilled ice cream on his shirt last week?" I say. "Oh yes, that was hilarious, Betty." She laughs. I laugh with her. Harry had been waiting all week for ice cream and he'd spilled it on his shirt, which wouldn't have been too funny if he hadn't purposely rubbed it all over his shirt and pants to try and make the stain into a piece of art. He had said, "It looks better this way." We always get off the bus early on Fridays to eat ice cream. This is the best part about being in school. The other part is the great teachers we have. At Pomerado Union School, we have 2 older buildings and 2 new ones. We share rooms with 2 other grades, and we also have our own kindergarten. This year, I was in 3rd grade. Mary and I talk for a long time about school and our friends before deciding to head home for lunch. My family's farm is a lot smaller than it was a few years ago. The farm became better for housing, because it became better with the new irrigation system. Poway voted for better irrigation last year, and it only took 3 days to complete. With more water, the land is better for many houses. I should mention at this time that many of you might not actually know what the word irrigation means. And it's a term for transportation of water to different locations. My family now has sold many parts of our land because we get a lot of money by selling it. We might even have to sell more land soon. That shouldn't be too hard though, because many people are coming to Poway now, so the land will be easier to sell. My mother tells us during lunch that we are going to the San Diego Zoo tomorrow. We are going to see the new Tasmanian devils that came from Australia. I love going to the San Diego Zoo to see elephants, giraffes, and even flamingos. After lunch, we go and visit Harry. He is working on the fields on his farm with his dad. He just recently learned how to ride a tractor all by himself. "One day, I'll ride the truck around too," he brags to us as we come by. We ask Harry if he wants to go to the store with us to get haystacks. Haystacks are a type of candy that has coconut and chocolate. Harry's face lights up, but he says that he has chores to do. Mary and I tell Harry that he can get haystacks with us some other time, and wave goodbye. Then we head into town. There are only a few stores in Poway, and my favorite is Mrs. Tom's. This is where we buy our haystacks. Then we go sit on a hill with our haystacks and look out over Poway. "Look, it's Rattlesnake Hill, Betty," Mary says. "I think I can see my house," I reply. We laugh as we have been on this hill many times before, and we already know where everything is located in Poway. The sun will set soon, and I have to go home. I wave goodbye to Mary and go back to my farm. I can't wait for another adventure tomorrow. Alright, that was the end of chapter 4 of the last chapter of my book. Now that I've read my book, I'm going to show you some pictures that helped me create the drawings or had some inspiration for the book that I wrote. So here's a picture of a rock that the Kumeyaay boys that I mentioned in the first chapter painted on. It's very hard to see and very faded. And here's another one. As you can see, it's very hard to tell, but with scientific research, they've been able to find pigment in the rocks, and they can scan it and determine what it actually looks like, which is very interesting. If you look up the article on Kumeyaay rock painting recently, you can find the drawing, or the picture for the inspiration for my pictures. This is from the third chapter, the early 1900s, this one-room schoolhouse that had a second story that they never used because they never had enough children. This is a picture of the post office from the early 1900s as well. And this is a picture of the farmhouse. I don't know if you can see, there's a farm. Overlooking how much land you can see that there was still available at the time in the early 1900s. And then, this is from the last chapter, the Pomerado Union School that the children would go to. And this is from a little bit earlier, from the 1950s. It's in 1945. It's a picture of one of the houses that was in Poway at the time. And then, of course, here's my bibliography page. As you can see, I did a lot of research for my book and did a lot of interviews and other things. So if you're really into research and that type of thing, or writing, know that it takes a lot of research and a lot of work.